It's me, Mishalla at OM System, and I'm here to wish you a happy OM System week. And I see somebody already said hi, Mishalla, in the chat. I was wondering if anyone missed me. I know it's been a super long time since I've been on any of our live streams, but I'm really looking forward to this one today as we're kicking off OM System Week. It's our third year of celebrating our brand as a new evolution. The olden days are done, and now we're here as OM System. And this year, OM System Week is really centered around creativity. And so I'm not sure if you're aware or if you've been kind of following along with some of our activities, but we have actually launched a contest completely based around creativity. And I'm hoping my dear friend Ted is in the chat and he can drop the link for this if you guys want to check it out. But kicking off OM System Week, we launched a new page of Creativity is in Our Nature, and we're showcasing all of the different ways that you can utilize our cameras and our system for awesome, really creative, outdoor, beautiful nature photography. But the best part is if you've taken a really awesome photo that you want to share with the world, you can actually enter our contest to win a trip to Japan with OM System. So if you head on over to that link and want to submit your best and most creative and artistic nature or outdoor or any sort of photography that really embraces the world around us, you should enter. And you can kind of see the gallery down below of what other people have entered with so far. So definitely give that a check out. Celebrate OM System Week with us. And I guess we should invite our guest onto the stage, right? You know her. She's OM System Ambassador Emilie Talpin, one of my favorites, and she's going to talk to us tonight all about different creative features that live inside our cameras and how to use them for very artistic, outside-of-the-box photography. So welcome, Emilie.
Hi, Mishalla. Hi, everybody.
How are you?
I am great. I'm great because I'm with you today. Like everybody in the chat, I've missed you. I'm like, we want Mishalla back.
So I know it's been a long time, almost a year, I think, maybe 2 since I've done a live stream, and I'm glad that I could do it with you. Makes me feel a little bit less nervous.
Me too. I don't know if I would have accepted to do a live with anybody else, so I'm sorry. You have to come back and do more live for us.
I'm the winner, guys. I'm the favorite live streamer host. We've got people from all over tonight. We got the Canadians in here saying bonjour.
Bonjour.
Can you give us a bonjour?
Yes, I like that. I see Melody from Canada. I recognize a few names too. We have people from everywhere. Marlene from Texas. Hi, Marlene. We have Tim too. Tim really likes your purple hair. He's like, I like the purple streak.
It's my fancy light wand. I like to jazz it up a little bit in here so it's not too boring.
This is cool because I was thinking, you know what? How did she do that in 5 minutes? I didn't see that when we were talking before the live.
It's all about lighting, everyone. Oh, welcome back. Thank you, guys. Portland, Oregon, my hometown. Oh, somebody met you at the macro retreat in Maine. That's cool.
Yes. Oh, we had a fantastic time at the macro retreat. It was just the big OM System family. So for those who don't know, the macro retreat, we were 6 ambassadors in Maine. And we did a intense macro for 3 days at Steve Moreto, he's an OM System ambassador. He offered his house, and it was just fantastic to just be with, I think it was 43 people that came, and we photographed bugs, we photographed refractions, talk about creativity, and it was so fun to see what everybody was doing. So I see a few people, actually Marlene, Team, Suzanne, who were at the retreat. So thank you for joining us. And I also see some people. It's John, my first OM live show, looking to switch to OM. Welcome to the family soon.
Yes, we look forward to having you, and hopefully you'll be inspired by some of Emilie's awesome images today to find the camera that's right for you. That's awesome.
And contact us. That's something I want to say, because all the ambassador, when I started a few years ago, that was not that long ago, I always contacted the ambassador and the OM System team, and everybody is so nice answering any questions. So don't hesitate. Any questions, put them in the comment, but also reach out to any of us anytime. We're super happy to help you out.
That's awesome. So, we're going to talk about a couple of different types of computational photography. If you're familiar with our cameras already, you know that we have lots of different computational features built into our cameras to really maximize your photography. We've got live composite, live ND. If you're on our newest camera, there's even live GND now. So, we're going to kind of go through a couple of those different features and how Emilie got the shot, how she thought her way through the shot, and the creativity behind how she got that shot, because they're a little bit not just landscape photos, not just everyday photos, it's just a little bit different. So should we maybe share your first photo? Do you remember which feature is your first photo?
I thought we start with live composites. I love macro photography, but I love live composite. Live composite makes me want to be a landscape photographer, and it's something that I always have my camera with me. But when I go to parties, it's the best, especially with kids, because you can do so many cool things and entertain people, and it's just a feature that is so fun for people to see, and how you're creating an image. And when you're stopping and the result that you're getting, it's fantastic. So definitely one of the features that made me switch to OMSystem was live composite, because you can use it for many, many different things. So my first image actually was, yes, that's the one. So we actually, it's the end of October, and so it's foliage season for us. I live in the White Mountains in New Hampshire. We had so many tourists who came, but fall season for me, it's really a season that I love. It helps me to be so creative, and here it's actually 10 minutes from my house in the White Mountains. It's called the Basin. So it's waterfalls and a stream that are coming down the mountains. And then you have leaves that create a twirl. And so this, to me, is kind of the best way of telling a story, because my story here, what really attracted me when I saw this landscape was seeing those leaves going around, and they were stuck in that area. And the only way to tell that story and show those leaves going around is with live composites. So for this, I had a tripod. I put my camera on my tripod, and I started live composite. And then what is magical, and there were people who were walking right behind me, and they were like, what is she doing? And then they could see, the photo being made. And having a camera, especially an OMSystem camera, it's a great way to meet people, because people are always going to be interested, because some of the features are features that they've never seen in any other cameras. And they're with their cameras, and they're like, does my camera do that? And I'm like, oh, sorry, but you can enjoy my camera right now and see this. So once you are satisfied with the shot, then you just stop the live composite, and you can basically see your image being created and know exactly when you're gonna stop and have the end result. So it's really is a fantastic feature. So for me, a waterfall is great, but it's even better if you have those leaves going around and being stuck in that place. So that was my first shot.
It's funny that you used live composite for this, because we were up in Bushkill Falls in Pennsylvania last year, and I was kind of teaching a workshop on using live ND to do waterfalls, which I know we're going to get to today as well, so don't worry, guys. But, sorry. I was sitting on the edge, and everybody had left, and I was just kind of waiting, and there was this pool at the end of this waterfall that was swirling like this, and I totally remembered this image that you had shared, and I was like, oh, I want to do that. And so I used live ND and got similar. My leaves did not stay the beautiful colors yours did. Mine got a little blurrier and swirlier, but it still had that same effect. And I was like, I got to tell Emilie, she totally inspired me to get this really awesome shot. And it was totally from when you posted this before.
That is so great. And it's true. So live composite, I see John is saying that, I shoot a lot of ICM. We're going to talk about ICM in a minute. It's true, live composite and live ND. So with OMSystem, and that's what I love this, the camera I have, the OM1 Mark II, is one of the camera that I use the most, but I'll show you images that I created with the OM5 and even with the Pen F if we have time at the end. It's all the features that are in this camera. I think we talk about creativity, and that's the heart of photography, right? I think that now in our industry, a lot of people are stuck in megapixel. How many megapixel do you have? Megapixel is not going to make a good image. Composition, feeling of your image, that's what really counts. And having the tools to help you realize those images is key. I'll take any of the computational technology instead of megapixel or how big a camera is or whatnot. I think that we really have to go back to what photography is about. It's capturing light, capturing a moment, making other people feel, and for that, it's been really a great journey to have all those tools with me with this camera.
I'm going to share just one quick question because I know we're going to talk about it later, but we can quickly answer it here. Yeah. Stuart wants to know, would you use live composite to shoot the aurora? Because I know we've got some photos.
That's a great question. So yes, you can, but the problem with the aurora is that if you do that, then you will just have a big, massive, like green and a big massive pink, right? You won't have the aurora that's being defined. So it really depends what type of effect you want. If you want to have an aurora that's spread out but a blur, then yes. But most of the time, I would not recommend doing that because you're going to miss the shape of the aurora. And I'll show you actually one feature that I recommend using to shoot the aurora that is really cool and will give you the right result. I think people think long exposure when they think of the aurora. I wouldn't do that. On the contrary, to shoot the aurora, you do just a 1 to maximum 3-second exposure. So you still get a shape in your aurora. And I'll show you some pictures that I took and I explain some of the setting. But thank you so much, Stuart. That's a really good question.
All right. Let's take a look at the next one. Ooh, that one's, it's Star Trails.
Star Trails, yes. So this one, I don't know if Frank Smith is an OMSYSTEM ambassador in Pennsylvania, and he's always, I love his photo of the trees, those tall trees and the foliage. So he kind of inspired me to do that image. I don't do a lot of Star Trails. I've always wanted to do more night sky. With the fall foliage, I thought, I just have that image of that fall foliage and having like the sky and the night, the star trails piercing through the sky. I thought that would be cool to do. So I actually took my OM1 and I use live composite here. So this is, I think 15 seconds is usually what I like for live composite. So when you start live composite, it's in B mode. Make sure that it says live composite because you have B mode, you have live composite, and you have
lifetime.
Lifetime. Thank you so much. Lifetime. And lifetime is great because you can see more. So I start with lifetime to, get my shot, and then I switch to live composite. And then if you press on the menu, you'll be able to decide how long you want each photo to be. So for this one, 15, usually I like 13 to 15 seconds. And so it will take the shot for 15 seconds. And then another one and another one. So basically your camera is adding every extra light into your images, and you're going to start seeing those star trails being made. I know a lot of people who don't have a live composite, and so they have to take each photos, and then they're going home and they have to put it together. Here you see your photo being developed in front of you, and it's really magical. It's kind of like being in a dark room where you start seeing your photo, being made. And that's exactly here, like what you're doing. And I know exactly when to stop. Very often for star trails, I'll do probably around an hour and a half is what I like to do. But you can do much more.
Awesome. So someone is asking if this is a double exposure. It's not, but why?
It's not a double exposure, and that's a good point. It could be. So I'll talk about a double exposure. I'll actually use that feature a lot, especially when I'm waiting for a bird to show up and I'm very bored. Then I use some of the computational feature to entertain myself. And that's one that I love to use. The multiple exposure is you take one image and then you're going to superimpose another image. So I'll talk about that a little bit later. But this one is just one shot, and full moon, very bright. There was a little bit of light that was coming up, so that's why you see the full foliage being so bright, because it's kind of unusual. Most of the time, you'd think that those trees would be dark. And a lot of people don't want to go and do star trails because they say, well, it's full moon. Great. You should go and do those star trails when there is full moon. It works extremely well. You're going to get some great colors.
Well, I'm going to just apologize up front, guys. I've been really sick for the past couple of weeks, so my throat kind of checks out. So that's why I'm letting Emilie do all the talking tonight. So I apologize if you guys hear me coughing. This is a live stream and things go crazy on all of my live streams. And this week I'm sick. So, but that does answer Linda's question on how you lit the trees. I'm really impressed with the fact that you were able to get so much star detail with the full moon. You must have been in a great location, because sometimes that can be the challenge with star trails on a full moon night, is you start to not be able to see as many stars. But
exactly. And here, so I live in the White Mountains of New Hampshire. So it is a dark sky. I live in a small, super small town, like 1,500 inhabitants. During the weekend, multiply that by 4. But it's very dark here. So I have no excuse. I should really be doing more star trails. But you're right, light painting. You could light paint your foreground, and here I could have light painting the trees. But when I started the shots, I knew I didn't have to do that because it was very bright. And as I said, there was a house in my neighborhood that had a little bit of light. And so it was enough for me, because here I'm really in the middle of a small conservation land at the entrance of my village.
awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of stars, ooh, I like the clouds in this one.
I know. So so here it's interesting because it was during the aurora period. So I said, don't use live composite with the aurora. But here, my goal, so this is a conservation center on the other side of the mountain where I live, where I was during that big aurora in October. I could not see the aurora because everything was covered with clouds. And I am not gonna miss one of the biggest aurora we had so far. So I drove on the other side of the mountain where I could see that there was a clear sky. So when you're shooting the aurora, you should have a couple of apps. So I have Aurora Alert. I also make sure that the skies are clear and I can see on the map where I have openings. So here I knew I had to drive 50 minutes to this location to be able to get the aurora. And here my goal was not to get a well-defined aurora. I wanted to light paint this house. That's the conservation center where I live, because I think it would be very cool for them to have that and showcase. So here you can already start to see a little trail with the stars. That probably was a 2 to 3 minutes that I let live composite run. And I had a friend of mine who was very kind. She came in and with a flashlight, she lighted up the house for me. And it's also fun because you can see exactly what you are doing. So I was able to guide her. Okay, go to the left, or you missed that part of the roof. Can you light it up again? And then you have to be careful because with the window, you can get, some really hot spot. So we had to redo it a couple of times and then look at different angles to light up your shot. But it's just really fun. You can definitely have fun in the dark with lighting up your subject. So light painting. And here, as soon as she finished painting, I stopped because I didn't want to have the star trail, and those clouds were actually coming in, and so I still wanted to keep that purple of the aurora. And someone is saying, Francesca is saying, obviously a camel night for the tree. That's correct. I did that same shot the night before. There was some wind, and I didn't like it. It was way blurrier. So here, if you do this, yes, you're right. You need a calm night to do that as well.
Mushrooms. Now, you just did a whole Instagram story on mushrooms for us, right?
I did, and I love in the August is a great time. September is a great time to do mushroom here in the mountains, and there are so many different approach of taking a photo of mushroom. There's a lot that goes into it, and a friend of mine is actually she has a master with mushrooms, so she knows all the mushroom. So we had a great talk. She could share a knowledge, and I could share my photographic knowledge of doing this. And this is actually inspired by Tom and Lisa Kuchara, their OMSYSTEM ambassadors. They do so much with light painting, and Tom does a lot of things with mushroom light painting. You should see him when he's in the wood and there is a mushroom. You cannot control him. And so I thought, I'm going to try that as well because that looks so cool. So here you need to make sure that it's dark, or you might have to maybe use a filter or use an aperture of f20, f22. Make sure that your ISO is low, and then start light painting. And then that's what you get. So the background was so messy, and I wanted to darken it. And I just want it's like putting a light spot basically on your subject. So it's something that's kind of different, and it's very fun to do. So do it at night, or in the wood, it's already kind of dark, right? So if you find a dark place, you'll also be able to do live painting with mushrooms.
That's awesome. That's a cool one.
Yeah.
It's like a glamour portrait for fungi. So I think we've switched gears now, right? I think we're in Live ND. I'm going to guess. Can I guess by this? Okay. I'm just going to try to guess all the computational features you used so that when we switch, and then you can tell me if I'm wrong, and then I'll probably get, in trouble at work for not knowing my stuff. So
I like that, but I also like to trick people, use different features and maybe something you might not expect. But here you completely are right. So Live ND is just so refreshing, no pun intended, because it's a cold waterfall, but you can just use your camera, and then with your camera you can just walk around, and you see all those people with their tripod, and they're trying to, they have their ND filters, and they have their tripod, and they're taking a photo, and I'm just showing up, I'm pulling my camera, already have a button that's set up for Live ND, and then I just click on the button, and here we go. I can just actually most of the time handheld my shot and get that type of results. I mean, it's really spectacular. And you see, people were like, they're looking at you and they're like, well, your shot will be better if you have ND filters and a tripod. And then I'm like, and they're like,
yep.
How did you do that? So I'm really, really impressed because the stabilization of the OMSYSTEM camera is excellent, and the ND filters. So on the OM1 Mark II, it's up to 128. So it's plenty. You can really slow that water down and get a smooth result. It's to me, it really will make a shot. If I didn't have Live ND, I don't think that shot would be as nice, because you've got that draping effect, that creamy effect with the water falling down. So one of my favorite features, as I said, I have one button that is just reserved for Live ND because I do it all the time. I use it all the time. I even use it for bird as well. So you can use these filters for really creative effect, even for wildlife photography. So don't think that all those are just for a landscape. just see what you're getting, because that's what photography is about. It's about experimenting and seeing the results. And some great photos very often are the result of mistakes or experimenting with things.
This is true. I love what you said about having it on a button, because all of my cameras that I've had live ND, the very first thing that I do is assign live ND to my front button on my camera, because I use it all the time. It's my favorite go-to feature. I set up my other custom modes for like astro or birds or things like that, but live ND is always a button that I can quickly turn on and off. That and bird autofocus. I have my one of my buttons on the top is bird autofocus. Yeah, because I'm like, I'm always ready for birds.
And it's also so interesting to see what buttons, like if I give you my camera, you're probably like, what is happening? Because all my buttons are completely reprogrammed. And then I have C1, C2, C3, C4. And all the buttons are quite different from C1, C2, C3, C4. So I know exactly, well, in this case, this button is live ND, but in another case, it's going to be focus bracketing. So
that's the fun part about all the custom modes, is trying to remember what you did with them.
Exactly. That's
I need a cheat sheet for myself sometimes. Like,
oh, you need to go and shoot every day. That's what I tell people. If you have those custom settings, then that's just how it is. Go and shoot every day and use those custom settings so you remember what they are. And yes.
Sorry, I accidentally hit too early, but I love this shot.
Perfect. So this shot is taken down the road in the White Mountains. I've been so inspired actually leaving. I've moved to the White Mountains 2 years ago. And so we have the Pemi, the river that flows down right through actually the town. And it is a teeny tiny river. Actually, if you go to the next slide, I'm going to show you what this river is about, because you wouldn't believe it. That's the same exact spot. So this spot, on the bridge in the middle, but you can see a lot of rocks. It's very, very calm river. There's not much flow to it most of the time. And then if you go back, this was a raging river. It was taken.
It's not letting me go back today. I broke the slideshow. So we're going to imagine we went back and looked at that raging river. There we go. I got it.
Yes. And so this river has been completely transformed. We got a lot of rain. We had to evacuate the school where I was teaching at the time. And then you could see the rocks rolling down and being pushed by the river. And we were very worried that some of the bridge were going to collapse. That's why I was not on top of the bridge. I've seen so many people doing that. They take photos on top of the bridge. Be so careful, people. So here, I sent my wife. I told her, just go closer to the water. I'm going to take a nice shot because you're wearing, yellow. But she's quite far away from the raging water. But live Andy really made that photo for me, because you got that really muddy, packed with iron water. And it just gave an effect that was much, much better than any normal photo I would have. And just everything around it was dark. It was winter. We barely had snow. And it was a cool shot to get. As long as, the person in the shot is not moving, then you're going to get a good shot.
That's the fun part, is trying to stand really still. I've tried to do some like really elaborate waterfall selfies, but I'm too wiggly. I can't stand still enough. And so I'm always blurry, and I'm like, okay, you got to have somebody who's not drank as much coffee as I have.
That's what I was going to say. No more coffee. The day that you know that you do that, don't drink any coffee. But yeah, here it was just a fun shot, enabling you to be creative. And I see Philippe says in France, actually, a lot of rivers are big with the rain, like your image. That's true. Like in the Ardèche, I saw that, like cars being taken away on the bridge. It's true that we're getting more and more of that crazy weather and those raging rivers. So, use your live Andy. Be creative. Water it's such a source of inspiration for artists, right? For me, I feel like that's something that I'm always drawn to. And I always try to explore new ways of showcasing the water. So that's another shot with live Andy, where he's Here, the same river in the summer. It's packed with iron. It's cold, so I wanted to show that contrast between the cold of the water, so you have that blue and white, and the warmth of the sun and those rocks, and packed with iron. So you got that contrast. So when you're doing live ND, you want to make sure that you are going to find for your composition a spot where the water is hitting it, how do you say that, kind of reversing each other, falling down the rocks and then moving back. So you have that very contrasty point in your photo, because a lot of people forget that, well, okay, when you're taking a photo, you also need to make sure that you have a point of interest, or to tell a story, that's where the story is here. Maybe not everybody will see it, but when I create a photo, and I use create because I think like, you take a photo, but you're an artist, right? You make a photo, but I feel making is also, we're missing something. So I think we're creating a photo. That's what we should be using, because we are picking up different different computational technologies. We are composing the shots. There's a lot of things that happen when you are taking a photo. So you're not just taking it, you're creating it, I think. Don't you think so? Like, I think that's what we should do. Creativity. We're creating a photo.
Not snapping a shot.
No.
Creating a photo. I like that much better. All right. Did you use the Live ND for your ICMs too?
I do. So I saw someone was saying ICM with live composite. Yes, for my ICM shots, I love live ND. I think it's such a cool feature. So I don't know why, but every fall I am really, really inspired to explore ICM. So intentional camera movement. It kind of has a bad name because people say, well, ICM, what is that? You just drop your camera, you shake your camera, and you get a photo. But there's actually a lot of things that goes into a good ICM photo, because you still have rules that you need to know when you're making ICM. There are different movements. And then what is your point of interest? You need to find contrast in your image. So here, I just wanted those white birch and that gorgeous golden color. It's just when I'm in the middle of the winter, I like to look at those type of images. It makes me happy. My work has a lot of colors. I'm really drawn to bold colors. Can you tell? As I say that, especially I'm really drawn to yellow and orange. I love those colors. So for me, fall is such a treat. So here ICM, and the movement is, you have those tall trees, that white. So my movement is going up in a straight line, up and down. And when you do ICM, a little trick is, I see Marsha saying, do you turn off stabilization when doing ICM? That's an excellent question. You should turn off ICM. I'm so excited that I have to admit that some of my photo I forgot to turn off. So, but that's not good because I'm probably competing with the stabilization, but it does work as well. But yes, turn off the stabilization. It will give you, a different effect. But full disclosure, I know for a fact that on this one, I didn't even turn my stabilization. And here, because it was a straight line, I feel like, okay, well, maybe it's not.
And then you have to remember to turn it back on, because sometimes I disable mine and pay the price later on when I'm like, why is this bird photo like... I'm shooting at like 1/60th of a second, so it's my fault. But I'm like, oh, yeah, stabilization, that helps.
But you're so right. And that's why there are a couple like stabilization, landscape. Even if I'm at a tripod, it's like you should. I don't do it because of that. I've been burned a couple of times forgetting and thinking, I know my shots are not good. And what is happening? And it's like, oh yeah, my last photo was ICM. Or I was shooting landscape, and all of a sudden a bird comes in the picture. And but if you know that you're going to shoot ICM all day, then yes, turn it off. But it's a lot of experimentation. So here, that's another one. For me, I wanted to talk about those leaves, that are spiraling down, that round movement. So here, my movement was just turning my camera that way. So there are different type of movements that you can do with ICM. And what's amazing is that you can never replicate that image. I did this one, I tried to replicate it, and I just couldn't. Just very, very rarely happens. You're always going to get different shots. You can also do ICM on a tripod and, stamp your tripod. That's also another technique. And for me, it's ICM is fall. That's something I love to do in fall and a little bit in the winter as well. But those colors, that the wind coming in, it inspires me to tell the stories of those leaves that are coming down and being at the end of their lives. And yeah, Kathy's saying, I love that because you never end up with the same image. And it's so true. And that's what is so fun. You can find the same shot, the same position, you're in the same place, you're doing the same kind of movement, and you're not being able to replicate it. It's fantastic. And I'm still exploring it. I'm fairly new to ICM. And this one is probably one of my favorite of this fall. And here I actually use my zoom. So
I was going to ask that. That's what this looks like. I was going to ask you if you did that because I was trying to teach my kids how to do that one day.
Yes.
And it's such a cool effect.
It is, because I saw that contrast. I saw the red and I saw the green and a little bit of those yellow leaves. And I'm like, okay, that's going to make for a good shot. And then I'm like, well, but what type of movement do I want? And here for me, the idea was fireworks. And so with, the barrel, so here it's actually my OM1 Mark II and the 150-400.
Oh, wow. I wouldn't have guessed that lens.
No, right?
That's awesome.
And the 150-400 is one of my favorite landscape ICM lens, I have to say. So here, standing back, that's what I use. I love this lens. It's always on my camera. So just explore. Don't think like, well, okay, I'm doing ICM and this is what I'm going to do. No, just go and explore. How about your telephoto lens? Try it for ICM. And then it's a little heavier lens as well. So, oh my God, if you don't put the stabilization on, you might get some pretty fun results. But here the idea is, I wanted that idea of firework and spreading those colors around. And then you also have a point of interest. So you can see a lighter part. So always think about that. Where is your point of interest in those photos? So here you have that's not center, but close to the right, where you have a little bit more light. So that's, to me, is my center of interest. And then you have everything that's coming out of it, like the firework. It's very full foliage for me.
That's funny. I actually really like to do this with like night scenes too. The zoom with lights, like different, like if there's lots of different types of lights in the background, it looks really cool and makes like light trails look like they're coming at you. I experimented with it with flash in a portrait before too. I mean, you can do a lot of cool stuff by zooming in and out your lens in the middle of a shot.
Exactly. And it's so funny because very often we take a photo, but just be creative. Okay, you took your shot. What else? Experiment with your camera,
Oh, are we on? What is this? Multiple exposure?
Yes, multiple
I'm
exposure.
getting good at guessing these. Yes.
You are. So multiple exposure, again, when I'm out and I'm waiting for wildlife, very often as a wildlife photographer, I spend a lot of time in the woods alone and waiting for something to show up. And sometimes it doesn't happen. That's part of it. But I like to kind of be creative, kind of explore my area. And then with mushroom, well, this mushroom was not in a good location and I didn't want to do live painting. But then I thought, there's moss, that green moss was everywhere. It was so pretty. So what I did is with multiple exposure, you take one shot and then you go to another location and then you can superimpose an image. So here my idea is I'm going to have, like in a print, I want that nice mossy background and I'm going to superimpose that mushroom on top of it. And there are some cool things as well. So I think that might be my next shot as well. Oh yeah, this one is the same. So I wanted, that's a mushroom with two leaves. So here it's kind of, I wanted to have like a print feeling where I'm printing those very, very like bright colors, red and yellow on that brown mushroom. That mushroom on its own, I like the texture, but it needs something else. So it's kind of like, it feels like a print as well. And then the other one is actually, I use ICM. So I took a shot using ICM. You can't use if you do multiple exposure, you can't start multiple exposure and do ICM at the same time. So you need to take an ICM shot, and then when you have your ICM shot on your SD card, it's in your camera, and you find that mushroom, then you switch to ICM, and then you're gonna click on overlay, say okay, and then you're gonna be able to go and pick an image that you want as your back. Oops, my camera is kind of zooming on me. Sorry, that's what happened. And then you're gonna take that shot as your background, and then you're gonna superimpose that mushroom. So here you're actually using two computational technology together. But be careful. Don't start by pressing the multiple exposure first. Do your shot with ICM, then start multiple exposure, go into overlay, and then you'll be able to superimpose that mushroom. So it's just kind of creative. Am I going to win an award for those photos? No, but it's kind of taking me to a moment in time, and I like that. I think that we need to do those shots more often where we explore our creativity, and it doesn't mean that it's going to be, an eagle coming down taking a fish. Sometimes it's just like a small moment in life that you kind of want to recreate a feeling and share a feeling.
I like that.
Yeah.
All
And
right. I know we had Aurora questions. And honestly, is this the video?
This one is the video. Yes.
So this is going to be time lapse? Are we talking time lapse?
That is correct. This one is going to be a time lapse. So far, 100%.
I'm not getting fired today, guys.
And so for me, the aurora, I've seen so many shots. So this year and next year, it's the sun is in its 11-year cycle. So what it means is that we are supposed to get better auroras. And we already had one, I think, in May. That was fantastic. We had one in October, again, fantastic. So what it means is that in places like maybe Massachusetts, Connecticut, even down south in Texas, people could see the aurora. So it's really a treat. But for me, the aurora is you seeing, the aurora dance. And I knew when I went in that what I wanted was not just a shot of the aurora. I wanted to do a time lapse. And OMSYSTEM.Cameras are really so easy because in the computational features, menu 2, I think you have interval shootings, and then you decide how many photos you want to take. And then you can also extract photo from the time lapse that you're going to do. So at the end of this video, I added a couple of photos to show you the photos that I took from the aurora, 1 minute exposure, but I also do that time lapse. So every second, not minute, every second, my camera is taking one photo and then adding it, So at the end, I can go and make my own time lapse. And for time lapse, I highly, highly recommend OM Workspace. I know it can be a little slow, and I know a lot of us don't use it, all the time to edit their photos. But oh my God, it was absolutely fantastic to do time lapse because there is a feature on OM Workspace. Just click on it. I did it in Lightroom. Oops, I did it in Lightroom. I have to stop doing that. Are you hearing me use OM Workspace? But honestly, it was so easy. I got blackout when I was doing it on Lightroom, but here on OM System, it gave me an end product that was fantastic. Very, very easy to do. So
the other nice thing is you can actually also do it entirely in camera. I do tend to prefer to do it just do the time-lapse shooting and then edit it, especially in Workspace, because it's easy. You just select them all and it turns it into a time-lapse for you.
Yes.
But when we were out in, actually Ted and I, Ted, our graphic designer who designs all of our beautiful, awesome OM system stuff that you guys see, he and I went out to the Tetons for OM5 launch, actually.
With
and
Matt.
we did a time lapse of the Milky Way going through the sky, and we just set it up to do time lapse video. So as soon as it was done, I was able to export it and put it right on my phone, straight out of my camera, and didn't have to do anything. It was so nice.
It's so easy. It's true. Here, because I thought, well, I wanted to still process a little bit. That's why I did it. And it was very easy. But you're right. If you want to share it straight away, you can definitely do that. It works very, very well.
Awesome. Okay, we're going to move on to the next section, but we're going to go back to the last section. Just 1 second. Emilie, Robert wants to know, do you switch auto gain on or off in your multi-exposures?
I switch it on because I want it to be balanced. Otherwise, you're going to get some weird, with the light, it's not going to work very well. So it's on for me. Oh, that makes sense. But again, experiment. Which
it's
one?
Macro, so focus stacking?
Okay, for this one, I thought I would trick you. You're right. That should be the first thing you think about is focus stacking, and you're right. But I wanted to talk about something that's so silly, but I've seen a lot of people being very confused about it and not using it when they should use it. So when I photograph bugs, I have a flash and a diffuser. And when you have a flash, well, it's going to be darker, right? So if you look at the back of your camera, you're not going to be able to focus. Well, here it's night LV, so it's basically like having night vision. So you can look at the back of your camera and then see and then focus properly because I manually focus. So a lot of people are very confused and they're like, well, I can't see anything. So I'm going to change my aperture. I'm going to change my ISO. And it's like, that's not the point. The point is you have a flash that's going to do that for you. But they're like, yeah, but then I don't know how to focus properly. That's why you have light LV. So you can see it's not a true render, especially with the colors, but it enables you to see exactly what you are doing, compose, focus. And this shot is just a one shot, probably aperture f18 or f20. I know you have different ambassadors, so Ben and Chris, they do a lot of focus stacking, focus bracketing. I do a lot of my shots midday with my diffuser, and so I do like those insects are moving a lot with the antenna. If I focus stack, that wouldn't work. So here it's one shot. So don't be worried about getting any diffraction. Do you see any? Yeah, but you can't see it. It's not really stopping you for the image. So to enjoy this image. So here, my shots, when I do one shot, I need the depth of field. So same for here. That wasp. So I'm using a flash to darken the background here because that's what the effect that I wanted. So my light, there is no background that's too close to my subject. That's why I'm getting a black background. There is no black background. It's in the middle of the day. And it's just like the distance with the background is too far away for the light to reach it. So that's why you have a dark background. That's what I like to shoot with a flash.
I have never thought about using night live view. It's just night LV that she's talking about, which is in OM1 and OM1 Mark II. It's kind of like what live view boost used to be in the older cameras. But I've never thought about using it in the day for flash photography. That's really interesting. I've only ever used it at night when I'm trying to like focus or do long exposures. But yeah, that's a great idea.
It's very powerful, and I just thought I would talk about it because when I'm in the field doing workshop, that's one of the issues that I've seen, and it did not occur to me. So I thought, well, it would be kind of fun to talk about it, and it could help people just I think I have a couple more shots. I love to
I
get
love
really
this one.
close to my subject with the little heart. It has a little heart as well. I like to look for shapes as well in nature. So that's a crab spider. The spider, they are quite poisonous, but not to humans. So you're fine. But it's fun to photograph them. And again, with the flash, you get great result. You get a lot of depth of field at f probably 16 for this one, I think.
Oh, I
And
like the
then
purple.
the purple, yes. So, and here again, so you can see I had make sure that you creating your shot, make sure that you exploring all your subject from all angles. If I would have lowered myself, then maybe I would have had the dark background. But here with the bees, I purposely put myself in a place where I had a flower, that purple that's at the back, because I didn't want that shot to be completely dark at the background. So always look at different angles. Don't take just one shot. First of all, macro photography, you need to take a lot of shots. You're going to get a lot of blurry images. You're going to get some that are not well focused. That's just part of it. Don't worry about it. Just keep on shooting, and then work on your angles. Work on those angles and see. You'll be surprised at how much your image is going to improve if you just move just a few steps to the left or to the right, or you go up or down. So yeah, it's fun.
Francesca wants to know what metering mode you use. Are you shooting in manual when you do macro?
I shoot in manual, exactly. So it's very easy. A lot of people are worried about the flash TTL. Because if I don't do focus stacking or focus bracketing, then my camera, I use the OM1 Mark II, I use the 90mm macro lens, and I use the FL700 for flash, the Olympus OM System FL700. And it works extremely well, so I don't have to worry about anything, because my flash and my camera are going to talk to each other. And if I see that the scene might be a bit darker, I do like to do a plus 0.3 to plus 1.3 to brighten my image, always exposed to the right, so you get more details. And then if I take a shot and I see that that's not correct, then I do the exposure compensation on my flash. So really, what type of light reading, it's not going to make any difference, because here I'm not going to have to change anything. My flash is the one compensating. I know that I want to be at f16 to f22. I know that my ISO is going to be 200, and then I'm going to be at probably 160 to 100. That's usually what I like for the speed. And then my flash is doing the rest, so you don't have to read anything for the light.
And then this one is a good question. Which macro lens do you typically grab first, 30, 60, or 90?
This is such a hard question. Okay, so the 90mm macro, it's my favorite lens. It really changed the way I shoot, because it gave me more freedom in terms of composition. So I would grab the 90, but honestly, if I'm doing mushroom photography, I love the 30, because I can get so close and I don't have, sometimes much leeway. So for me, the 30 is amazing for mushroom photography, even for refraction. The 60 is if I want something small to just grab on the go. I will take it for insect and portrait photography, another great lens I use.
Awesome. And somebody was asking if you use a diffuser, but then somebody else answered. You guys, this is my favorite. When you guys answer each other in the chat and help each other, it is so awesome. I love watching the community pull that off all the time. Somebody goes, yes, Emilie uses the AK diffuser. Don't we all? Yeah.
I do. And they have like new diffuser. Ben Sal actually did something with Zamir, the owner of the AK diffuser. So they have a new diffuser pro for the 90mm macro. I've been using it. It's fantastic. Yeah. So
Nice.
you need a flash and a diffuser. You need a diffuser if you have a flash, for sure.
Yes. Don't do macro with just the flash. You're not going to love your results, and they're not
Oh
going to
no.
look as soft and nice as Emilie's do. You definitely want to diffuse that light for sure.
Otherwise,
All
you'll
right.
get
Oh,
those hot spots.
ooh. I love these spiders so much, and I've like never successfully photographed one because anytime I get close enough, they jump away. And I'm like, no, you're the only spider I like because I am not a spider fan. I'm gonna just put that
So
out there.
Lisa Kuchara has a trick. You need to talk to them. And she talks to spider, and I spent half an hour with a spider, and I'm like, it's not going up. I'm not going to get the shot back. And she's like, look, she starts talking to this jumping spider, and the jumping spider goes exactly where it's supposed to go. So talk to the spider, and it's gonna work. You need to do that, and if it doesn't work, just have Lisa Kuchara on speed dial, and she will do that for you. It
Put her on
works.
speakerphone. Please talk to
Yes.
my spider.
And for this one,
Oh, Lisa and Tom are here. What's up, Lisa and Tom? Oh, sorry, continue. For this shot, I'll stop interrupting.
And so for this shot, I'm switching to focus stacking. So this shot,
Ooh.
that little jumping spider was very relaxed. I had put it on actually a tennis ball. I got that from Chris McGuinness. He used pom-pom to put them. And
I was trying to
so-
zoom in so you could see the diffuser in his eyes, and I
yes.
messed it up, guys. I'm
But you're right.
done being in control of this slideshow.
But you're right, it works so well. So here I wanted more detail. I knew the spider was not going anywhere. There's no antenna going around. So here, focus stacking, I think it's probably 12 shots put together with the OM1, and that's the 60mm macro for this one. Fantastic. This jumping spider was super teeny tiny. Yeah, it's the new ET of Spielberg. It is. It could be. It's so funny.
Spider
Sorry.
whisperer.
Yeah. So this focus stacking really amazing if you want to have more depth of field and you have a subject that will stay for you. Then that's what you do. Focus stacking.
And if you haven't tried focus stacking, it's also a really cool feature in almost all of our cameras. I think it's only not in one. But it'll actually take several slices of focus and merge it down into one flattened image. So you don't even actually have to edit it. You can use focus bracketing as well and edit it in Lightroom or OM Workspace or whatever program you use. But this will do it all in camera. So it takes a lot of, and you can keep your single frame images and get that final flattened stacked image. So it's kind of nice. It's very convenient. I've used it for grasshoppers because I like grasshoppers more than spiders. I'm not a spider whisperer. Sorry, Lisa and Tom.
That's okay. There is enough for everybody to share. We have a lot of bugs, so we can all pick quite probably 1,000 of them each, and we'll be fine.
All right. Seeing how I already jumped the gun, did we switch here, or is this focus stacking too?
Focus stacking too.
Okay.
So I love refraction. That's really how I started with macro photography. So here it's a dandelion clock with one drop of water, and then it's refracting the Gerbera daisy that's at the back. And for this, we're talking super, super small, but the only good way to get a good shot of a refraction is with focus stacking. I've tried many different things, and if you use an aperture of f18, then your background is not going to be creamy and blurry, and you're going to be like this, oh my God, this is so close, so you can't do that. You need to have a background that is going to be, and I'm still like very close. I have to stop doing this, sorry. So you need to be at f3.5, f2.8, and you need to focus. So take one shot after the other to get an image that is going to be sharp. So you have what's inside your water drop is going to be sharp, but your water drop is also all year round is going to be sharp as well. And then whatever you're putting on your water drop has to be sharp. So the only way around it is f2.8, f3.5, and focus stacking your images. Yeah.
Interesting. It's funny. Actually, if you guys go on our YouTube channel and you search Emilie's name on our YouTube channel, you and I did a live. I remember these photos. I think it was like 3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago. Yes. And we did a live, and we did it all on how she did refraction. So there's like a whole series on this. So if you are interested in this type of photography, we actually did a live stream on it where she taught you all how to do it. So check it out. It's on this channel.
You can go back and see it, and it's just really fun. And I know people are like, do you want to put actually T-steen? He has a good question about the flash. Flash interval for stack. Do you do flash interval for stack? Water drop refraction, you do not use a flash. Most of the time, except if I have a live subject, I do that I have some with ladybugs. But for this, no, you use a flashlight or you use your phone, and then you're going to put the light on your background subject, so what is refracting in your water drop. So that's why you don't really see. You see to the all the water drop that are on the right of the shots. You see a little light. That's my flashlight. But you're only supposed to put it on the back of your flowers. So those flowers pop when they are refracting in the water. But no flash. No flash for this.
I think T wrote this when we were on the jumping spider. So he might have been referring to that. So setting your interval time. I think that's when this comment came in.
Oh, yes. So, no, I don't set interval time. I mean, it's just, it has to go fast, right? So I don't want I have enough power in my flash to do those shots without having to ask my camera to wait. So no, I don't do that.
And which flash do you use? Do you use one of ours or no?
Yes, I do the FL700.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say it has a really fast recycle time.
Yes, I mean, you could use the 900. It's bigger, it's better. But honestly, I've been fine with the 700. I really love this flash. That's my go-to flash.
Yeah, and it's weather sealed. You can use it in the rain.
Oh, you could the 700?
Yeah, I think the 700 is weather sealed.
Oh, okay. I thought it wasn't. I thought the 900 was.
Pretty sure the 700 is too, unless I just lied to everybody and then I'm going to get in trouble and somebody's going to put it in the chat and tell me I'm wrong, and that is my favorite. Every once in a while I come back like a month later and someone will write in one of my live streams like, Mishalla said this and it wasn't right, and I'm like, okay guys, thank you for clarifying, stop calling me out.
We have so many different flashes and lenses that I'm the same. Sometimes I'm like, oh, you sure? Like I did, yeah, in some
Lisa's
of my videos.
got my back, I was right.
Okay,
thank you, Lisa.
Okay, thank you. I don't know.
All right. I gotta get rid of this comment.
So those are kind of little monsters, and so that's what I love about refraction, is that you can really be creative. So you can create those kind of fun little images. And so here it's kind of like a little monster with all those eyes. The next one, actually, I only do
I love it. Looks like a Muppet.
It does. And this one was actually published in a French magazine, so Science et Vie Junior, which is for kids. I used to read it when I was young. So they asked me if they could publish that as the photo mystery of the month. And so people can kind of figure out, how did she take this photo, So we had to explain a little bit about focus stacking to kids in the magazine. That was really fun. But yeah, just be creative. People think, well, once you've done a shot with flowers and water, you're done. No, you can do so many more. And yeah, if you go back to our other lives, you'll see many examples with water drops.
And just to shout out, my girl Jen, our global PR leader, is in the chat right now helping me out because Ted had to go. And she dropped the link to the flash that we're talking about and verified that it is weather sealed. So okay. I am off the hook today, guys. I can live to fight another fight. Thank you so much, Jen. We have a great team that's in the background. You don't always see us on the Ask Me Anythings. A lot of times it's me hiding in the background. But we have awesome people at OM System helping us out in the background, answering your comments as quickly as they can, because sometimes I can't type and screen and interact. So thank you to our awesome team for being here in the background for us today. Oh, we are changing gears. Hold on, let me guess. Okay. Did we switch to Pen F? Is this the
That's
monochrome?
I love that, you had like
It's my
confetti
favorite
coming
camera.
down.
I love that camera. I'm not gonna lie. I still shoot it all the time.
I love it. I've been on reading comments about that Pen F, and I'm like, I have the OM1 Mark II. What on earth? What do I care about a Pen F? It's from like 2016. And then I'm like,
My
yeah,
favorite.
whatever. Oh my God, I'm in love and obsessed with this camera. So I like to travel. I got a van, and I like to. It's such a cool camera. First of all, it's just so beautiful. It screams, I'm going out and I'm exploring and I'm going on a road trip. And then you have the that little dial with monochrome or with art filters. I mean, do you guys know that Taylor Swift uses the art filter from some of our cameras?
I don't know if we're allowed to say that, but she does. But we're not
We're
allowed
not,
to say that. So
we're not allowed to say that? Okay,
Jen in PR is about to get all over us.
she's okay. I'm gonna be fired after this live, but at least
No, no. She
so
uses
when
vintage one, guys.
that's and I saw this article on Petapixel and I thought, oh my God, that is so cool. So I'm allowed to say that because I'm a big Taylor Swift fan and I love the photos. And I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me? And so I love all the art filter. Um, I can say that. Yes, go Taylor
I
Swift.
can't.
I don't have any. So here we go. And I just really like those art filter. I think that it's another way to be very creative. You get them with that dial on the Pen F, but you also get them on the other camera. So if you have the OM1 Mark II, you can also find them there. It's a little more complicated to access them than just the dial, but for the Pen F, telling story, that's what we are doing, right? We're photographers, we're going on a trip, we are exploring the outdoors. We want to showcase a whole story, and for me sometimes I feel like there are stories that I want to showcase that are in black and white, and that's actually a trip I did in Quebec, Saguenay region, beautiful fjord in near Quebec, and it was really black and white to me, a lot of clouds, and so think about the story you want to tell and take multiple. I'm firing this. Like, take multiple shots and then put them together, because we're talking about this is the shot that I take. How about taking multiple shots and then creating a whole storyboard about that one day that you had? And I love to explore those art filter and the monochrome. It just opened up kind of new ways for me to think about my photography and to be creative. Yes, what is your story? And that's what I like to see from everybody. Kind of one shot is great, but how about multiple shots? How about a collage of images?
I like it. I like it.
Yes.
I think
So
we
that
have
was
like
my
hit
last.
the end of our rope. Have we?
Oh, and
I
that's
know
a
that
good
we're over
one.
time, guys. So everyone that's still here, you guys are the real MVPs. Thanks for hanging out with us. We always go over time, but that's okay.
Yes.
I just wanted to show off some of Emily's work, because if you don't already know, Emilie also runs her own YouTube channel, and it's super, super informative. She does a lot of deep dives into different products she uses, not even just ours, it's just different photography equipments and things like that, and places that she goes, and gives a lot of really good instruction. So her YouTube is on here, and her Instagram, of course, you can always find us on Instagram. I'm there, Emily's there, OM Systems there, we're all there. All of our ambassadors, I think, are there. And like Emilie had stated, they're usually pretty willing to lend out a helping hand and answer questions or share art with you. So, and you just launched a new website? This is new to me.
Yes,
I
so
didn't know
this
about
is
this.
new. I have Emilie Talpin space, but I'm going to launch a new website this weekend, and I have some really cool stuff that are going to show up on this website. So keep the link. Couple of days, it will be live, and I'm really, really excited. I've been working super hard on this website and on offering new things for you guys. So I can't wait to launch it probably on Sunday.
Nice. Well, that was fun. And we made it. We're at an hour and 10. So we're only 10 minutes over, which is pretty good for us, I think.
I agree.
Not too
And we got
bad.
Help. Thank you so much, everybody in the comments.
Yes.
We tried to trick you. We're going to say that. We tried to trick you with some of the questions we had and answering with, wrong things, and you did extremely well. So you all really
Yes, everyone who was able to come in and make sure to validate me because I wasn't sure of my answer and I was just blindly giving it out. I appreciate you guys. You are all the best. Don't forget, there's a lot of other stuff. I put it in the chat up towards the top. So if you are watching this on the replay, you should be able to see there's a lot of other OM System live streams going. We also have some webinars going on Zoom if you want to sign up for those in multiple languages. I think we've got them in Czech, Polish, I know for a fact German, French, all of this. Yes, we've got the French covered. A lot of that going on. And if you didn't see the contest to win a trip to Japan, scroll up in that chat and get to the top and check out our contest entry where you can submit your best artwork and share it for a chance to win a trip for 2 to Japan with OM System Ambassador Lisa Burns. So that's exciting. And we just want to say thank you so much for your time tonight and hanging out with us and answering questions in the comments and helping each other out and building this amazing community we have. And thank you, Emilie, for joining me and saving me. And you're a great educator, and I appreciate having you on the show every time you're here.
Thank you so much. And also a big shout out to all the OM System family, all of you guys, for all the things that you're doing for us and putting all those free shows and that insane competition to win a trip to Japan with one of our ambassadors. I mean, it's fantastic. So we are very, very lucky to have you guys and all of the OM System team working behind, some of them that you don't see very often. So really, we all very appreciative of all the work that you are doing for us. So thank you.
All right. I think that's it for us tonight, guys. And you can always rewatch this. It lives forever on our YouTube channel, so you can come back and rewatch later or check out Emilie's other videos on our stream. And we will see you next time. Thank you, guys. Oh,
see you soon.
Oh, I got balloons. Gotta give everybody hearts goodbye.
Yes.
Thank you. I knew everyone missed me. I'll see you
Come
guys
back soon. Bye.